Today we're gonna fix your procrastination. If you're tired of feeling guilty about not doing stuff and just generally feeling overwhelmed with all your stuff because it piles up after you avoid doing it, I have a psychology trick that makes it very easy to do all that stuff you've been avoiding and make you actually look forward to it. Because 1 year ago, I was such a procrastinator. The only thing that really motivated me was deadlines, but then when you run your own business like I do, you kind of set your own deadlines and then you just kind of like keep pushing it back. That's what happened to me. I wanted to run this 30-day habit challenge where I write 1 email per day for 30 days and that helps people build up their habits, but I felt like such a hypocrite because I procrastinated the whole thing for like months because I was like, I don't have hours to sit down and write 30 emails. So all these months go by and I'm not closer to my goals. I know I want to do this, but I'm just procrastinating and not taking action. So I'm frustrated with myself. I'm thinking stuff like I'm lazy, I'm not disciplined. But spoiler alert, after implementing this system, I ended up finishing that 30-day habit challenge. I also ended up launching a course in just 3 weeks. I think I made like 25k from that course. I also launched a $2,000 program in 1 week, but I also stopped feeling as guilty about not doing stuff because I got the stuff done. I used to feel so guilty about spending time doing things that I liked because I was like, I'm procrastinating right now. I should be doing this other thing, but I don't really want to do it. So I just keep pushing it off for months and even years. But after doing the system and like basically stopping procrastinating as much, I haven't completely stopped yet, but I haven't applied the system to like every area of my life. But I stopped feeling overwhelmed and I felt more fulfilled because I was able to get all the stuff done that I wanted to. This is the 5-step method. Step 1 is do a 5 whys analysis. If you have trouble sitting down and thinking about stuff like I do, I tend to do this stuff while I'm on a run or moving around or talking to someone. What happened is I asked myself why 5 times. So I was like, I don't want to do this thing, like film a video for my course. But why don't I want to do it? That's the first why. The answer was, well, it's boring admin work. I have to write the script. And then I asked myself why again. Why is it so hard for me to write the script? And I was like, oh, maybe because I think it's boring and useless. But then I realized by asking myself why again, it was actually not that I found it boring, but that I struggled to connect it with my goal and what I wanted. So I was like, this script writing is so useless. What am I even doing this for? But once I realized, after asking why like so many times, I found out that the root cause was I needed to reconnect with my goals. Writing this script will help me film this video, which will help me improve and change other people's lives because they watch my video. And once I realized that, I was like, why am I depriving people of this knowledge that I have? And that made me more excited to write about the script because it's like I'm sharing stuff with a friend. I'm like always so excited to talk about these topics. So I'm like, let me just write down everything I would yap about with a friend, and that got me way more excited to share this stuff. So because I was excited, it got done. For a lot of people, the root cause is actually perfectionism. They don't start because they feel like it has to be perfect. So like with the 30-day habit challenge, I didn't start for months because I was like, I need to sit down and write all 30 emails in one sitting. That's gonna take hours. I don't have hours to do this every weekend. And also it's boring admin work. But what actually happened is I made a post saying I was gonna do this because I got sick of my own BS. And people signed up. So I was like, okay, now I have to do this. Instead of writing all 30 posts in one day, I split it up into multiple days. I spent 15 minutes every single day just writing 1 email and did that for 30 days. And it was so much easier and way more fun. And I feel like that kind of got rid of my perfectionism because I was like, okay, I just need to write this 1 email. It takes 15 minutes. Very easy to do. If it's not perfect, that's fine. The next day I can improve. The other thing I realized was a root cause of why I was procrastinating was uncertainty. I had no clue where I was gonna start. I had trouble breaking down my tasks, and I'll share a tool that'll help you do that in a few minutes. And to address that, because now I realize the root cause of the problem, I could brainstorm solutions to it. So to address that, I started planning my day the night before, and during the night I'll have dreams about it, and for some reason that ends up helping me, and then I'm ready to get started the next day. That brings us to the next step, step 2, which is to set up a queue. For me, I check my TTL list, which stands for today, tomorrow, and later, because I can't plan any further than 2 days. I check that list every single morning to see what I need to do, and I plan that list the night before. Another cue that you could have is having a specific time of day dedicated to a theme in your life. For me, I like to work on my hobbies in the evening. So every evening for the last few months, I focused on practicing piano, and this month actually, I focused on learning how to sew. Another cue that could help is alarms, but I think I go a bit overboard with these because I have alarms set for every single hour, because sometimes my time perception is just wild. Like, I'll be doing something I really like and then the alarm keeps going off and I'm like, oh my god, 2 hours already passed. The next thing I do is I track my time 24/7, and this just kind of helps me measure progress because I'm like, okay, I say that this area of my life is a priority, but I'm barely spending any time on it. So every month I can look at that time tracking data and be like, okay, let me make an effort to change this in the next month. Okay, so that's setting up a cue. Now the third step is to create a simple habit. For you, it could look something like take 5 minutes every day to stretch or move your body somehow. It doesn't have to be so complicated, like you have to dedicate an hour to go to the gym. 5 minutes is enough to get you started, and when you start exceeding that 5 minutes, you start feeling good about yourself. It becomes rewarding and now you're more motivated by that. Because I find that I'm more motivated consistently by rewards instead of punishment. So for me, it was spend at least 5 minutes every day on my hobbies like sewing or practicing piano. And usually I end up spending an hour because it's just so fun and I feel like it's very rewarding. You need to remember it doesn't have to be perfect. So I have like spend at least 5 minutes stretching every day, and I literally take this stick and I'm like stretching my back and my shoulders and stuff. And some days I don't even do the full 10 reps of all stretches. I just do like half of it and I'm like, okay, this is all I have today. But that's better than doing nothing. Another simple habit I mentioned earlier was spend 15 minutes every day writing the habit challenge emails. It made it so much easier than spending hours writing all of the emails at once. Same with filming my YouTube videos. Every single week, it's very easy to set up. It's just my iPhone and a microphone and a small tripod on my desk. You don't need to spend hours making a setup and having a fancy studio. And that's also something that kind of helps me stay consistent, because not only do I have this easy habit to set up my YouTube filming thing, I also have that cue of my video editor being like, hey, when is next week's video being done? So that kind of acts as an extra layer of accountability for me to get my stuff done. Now, the last thing I'll say about this simple habit is if you're really struggling, you can use this tool called goblin.tools, and it basically helps you break down tasks into more manageable chunks. Now that we've tackled setting a very simple and easy habit, it's time for step 4, create a reward. Okay, this is my favorite part because I just feel like when you are more motivated by punishment, like you're fearing deadlines, you are scared because of the consequences of procrastinating, that doesn't feel like a very sustainable, consistent way to live your life. I am so much more motivated by reward because it just like makes things fun. It makes your life so much easier and better and you're happier. So what I like to do is the jar method. So I actually got my sister to write a bunch of nice notes about me. You can write these yourself, or if you really struggle, ask some of your friends. Literally pause this video right now and ask a friend or a family member to write you nice notes. Don't read the notes that they write, just put it in a jar. Now, every time you finish the habit or finish something that you've been putting off for a while, you can reach in the jar and read the fun surprise they left for you. Let's see what this one is. You have given me the most support. Oh, and that's so rewarding, and I would have to send my sister a nice thank you message, which makes me be like, wow, I need to do more of my tasks that I've been procrastinating now. The other thing that could help is having a calendar, and then you just check off every day that you've done the task, and then now you're like, oh, I don't want to break the streak, because checking things off is very satisfying. It doesn't even have to be a calendar. Sometimes it's just my to-do list, and I see the entire list of checked boxes and I'm like, yes, I did that. Another thing that really helps me is talking to others, because I love having bragging rights. It's why I run marathons, and I feel like when I'm doing something, because I can brag about it later, even if it's like bragging about it to myself in my journal, I'm like, yes, that's a nice reward. All of this kind of helps you with making the decision to start working on the task, but I find that once I actually work on the task, because it's so in alignment with my goals and what I want to do, even if it's something boring, like I have to do this admin work, I have to do this homework, it connects with my overall career goals or my overall, like a bigger goal. I just have to make that connection.
Connect to the Wi-Fi network.
Do you hear that? Hey Google! Hey Google, stop! That scared me so much. Once I connected to my goals, I realized that I actually like doing that thing I've been putting off for so long that I was like, why did I put this off? At first, I was like, I don't want to practice piano. I don't want to learn how to sew. This is like boring. I don't know where to start. But once I got into that easy habit, once I had all these rewards where it's like, yay, I can play a song that I like, or yay, I can make this top that I like, I was intrinsically motivated to do that thing I've been putting off. So now I start looking forward to doing that thing. And that helps you so much more in terms of long-term consistency than just making yourself have these deadlines. Especially if you're an entrepreneur or business owner and you have to set your own deadlines, it's kind of hard. That is the most important part and my favorite part of this system, which is reward. Now let's talk about step 5, which is analyzing things. So sometimes I notice that I ignore my alarms a lot. So I'm analyzing and reflecting and being like, okay, what can I do to make this part of the system better? How can I have better cues for myself? You know, maybe you can replace alarms with an accountability buddy where they like message you and it's like, okay, now you have to respond to them, and if you ignore their messages, they're straight up gonna call you and like come to your house. Or maybe it's you have to change the reward. So instead of having a compliments jar, you change it to something that motivates you more, that you like even better. So one time I was like, okay, after I finish doing this boring thing, I'm gonna reward myself with some popcorn and reading webtoons. And after that, I like locked in because I'm like, I need to get this done so fast so I can have time to read my webtoons while eating popcorn. I also struggled so long trying to keep track of my finances because I hate working with numbers and stuff. But then I was like, you know what? Let me outline the steps very clearly and start doing this because I really want to make these cute little graphs. And I locked in for like 3 hours at 3 a.m. because I was like, I really want to see these graphs. Now, the important part of this step to analyze and reflect is to make it adapt to your life so that it's a system that can work for you instead of just giving up and being like, this doesn't work. Because as your life changes, your system is going to change alongside that. And if you just constantly repeat this system like cue, easy habit, reward, it might feel like you're going in circles. But with this extra layer of reflecting on things, it'll feel like you're going in an upward spiral. So that's the summary of the system. The first step is to have a cue, whether that's an alarm or a time of day. Then have a very simple, easy habit that you can do every day or every week. And assign yourself a reward that makes you look forward to doing that instead of putting it off. Finally, analyze and reflect on what worked and what didn't so you can continue improving the system so that it works for you. This system is exactly what I teach in my ADHD content systems course, where I make it more specific to your content creation business, like if you want to build a personal brand or grow your business with short form video. Enrollments just closed, but make sure you sign up for the waitlist. I'll leave a link somewhere and you'll be notified when it reopens. If you're interested in turning these systems into a Notion template you can reflect on regularly, I do have videos on this. You can check it out here. I'll see you in that video. Bye.